Here is the Never Summer West, and it's a board I love to own, and there's just a lot about it to love. It's a really versatile all-mountain board, and a lot of love in the Never Summer world has gone towards the Ripsaw, has gone towards the Prototype 2, which are two boards that are often compared to this board. However, a lot of people are enamored with that, the stiffer flex of the Ripsaw and slightly stiffer flex, just a little bit, and the asymmetry of the Proto, but the West has the versatility factored down. If you're, if you're looking for a one board solution, I ask people, do you set your stance back in powder? Do you ride switch on groomers? If you like to ride switch on groomers, but you like to set it back and surf on powder, that's what all mountain boards are for. That's what the West is. The other two don't really do that. So it's an easy answer then. Just eliminate the other two and go with this, because as you can see, yeah, the nose is a little bigger than the tail, but it's like twinish or almost a directional twin. So it's very doable riding switch. It's very easy to ride switch and center up on groomer days. And then on powder days, you can set it back a bit and get a lot more directional float than you would with the Ripsaw or the Prototype 2. The Prototype 2, you don't even want to really set back at all, because it's a twin, an asymmetrical twin at that, with a centered stance, and you want to be riding a duck. So this, you can set up duck on groomer days and ride switch really well, and then get a more directional setback stance on powder. Do it there. You can see this board is not like most of the production models. When it comes to camber and wood and snowboards, they all have, there's just no consistency with any company. There is not a single company that does it. And the main reason behind that is because you're working with wood. All wood is different. One set of wood, set of boards in here is different than the next one, and they just set differently. So with hybrid rocker, it's a little more pronounced because you have a more exaggerated bend, quick bend here, than you do with hybrid camber, but you see all different types of, bends with what should be the same type of camber profile. You see one guy sent me and said, hey, my West is like up here. So it all changes. So the one I got, I was lucky. It's really flat and really stable, and then it almost feels like a flat camber board until you get until you engage this camber over the bindings, which is great. It's kind of right there, it feels almost more so than XC2 BTX from Mervin. Both are profiles I really like. But some people, you can see there's still a little float, but most people get board with a tip and tail that's a little bit higher off the table. So, this was just the one I got. But most of the ones I've seen in shops and elsewhere have higher, so there's more float. But let's talk about what I was talking about earlier, is setting up, like, let's say, the reference stance, like getting in here. This is 23 for me, and then, taking it back. This is 22 and a half almost, and I can slide the bindings, so I can slide this a little bit forward and this a little bit back, or just keep this here and get this to about, let's see, I can get this to about, no, this is not 22 and a half. This is more closer to 22 and a quarter. But I can slide this back a little bit and get pretty far back on board. So let's just go with like 22 and a quarter, which is kind of common. You're looking at just about 21 inches and about 53 and a half centimeters. And then on the tail, you're looking at about 18 and a half and 44 and a half centimeters back if you set it all the way back. So, you're looking at, a pretty decent setback. It's not the best as far as all mountain boards go. There are a lot of boards these days that are doing, like an extra set of slam backs, so you get really far back on board. But you still get a really surfy directional ride that's a lot further back than, than a lot of boards with, a centered stance like the Proto and the Ripsaw. So, this is a great ride, and I've ridden this in powder, and even with its flatter profile, it still floated really well, and it was, it was hanging in there with some of the slam back boards I have. Base is waxed, but it's, it's nice, it's well made. Never Summer's just reliable, and they're poppy. The top sheet, this is not a new board as you can see, but the top sheet has held up really well. They're just sturdy, and they've got this nice balance between, they're damper than you would think for their flex, but still poppy, so they just don't feel dead, and they don't feel chattery either. It's just a fun board to lay up carves. You don't have to go like this. You don't have to bring your knees out wide to get over the camber like you did with the SL or the Cobra, or you still do with the Snow Trooper. This Ripsaw camber profile is so much better, and you really don't have to. You can make more of a surfy carve. So that's really what I like about the Never Summer West. It's just the summary of versatility and like the definition of a good all mountain ride.